I can retire right now and be in the Hall of Fame. He couldn't. You know, like everything that I've accomplished, he's still trying to accomplish. You know.
Do you not think Spence will be in the Hall of Fame?
Right now? No, how?
Yeah, he's right, dude. He's right.
How? You know, like
be,
he fought in one division. You know,
never unified the belts.
He unified.
He did unify.
You know,
IBF.
He unified.
Was it?
Yeah, nah, he's nice as hell, but you know, I'm at the point of my career. The money right, I'll fight anybody. So.
Errol Spence and Terence Crawford just clashed on an Instagram live session where Errol Spence was clamoring for their rematch, assuring the boxing world that he was going to defeat Crawford in the rematch. Terence Crawford and Errol Spence have always had a rematch clause attached to their undisputed World Welterweight Championship clash when they fought. Unfortunately, Errol Spence didn't activate the clause for some reason until Crawford could no longer wait for him. Now, after a recent controversial claim from Terence Crawford, the sleeping dog in Spence has suddenly come alive.
You know, he said the Jose Benavidez fight was probably the toughest fight of his career. And I think you said back in the day you had your way with him in sparring. Is there anything to take away from that or that you take away from it?
Nah, not at all. I mean, it was a good fight. He fought a one-legged Jose Benavidez, and it was the toughest fight of his career. That says a lot.
What does it say?
The former unified welterweight champion is now ready to get back in the ring and prove himself against the man. That tarnished his boxing record. However, many boxing professionals feel it's the wrongest step ever for Spence to face a more active Terence Crawford immediately, without a tune-up fight to get himself back in the mix. Errol Spence has just one goal in mind, which is to defeat Crawford.
I'm walking up on my feet. You know, I want to get out the game. I got kids, got a mom and dad, and you know, they want to enjoy me. So, you know.
The former world champion has found new inspiration in Crawford's response and is so sure that a win over Crawford would undoubtedly seal his Hall of Fame status. But there's also the downside to it, where one must consider how fit Errol Spence, who only had his issues to deal with, was heavily destroyed by Crawford. And if that was the case back then, it should be worse now, due to Spence's inactivity. All of these began the moment Terence "Bud" Crawford claimed he was unconvinced that Errol Spence Jr.'s current achievements merit induction into the International Boxing Hall of Fame.
Unified.
He did unify.
You know,
IBF.
he unified.
Yeah, was it?
He had three.
Yeah.
He had the
Yeah,
WBC,
but he didn't unify all four.
WBA,
He wasn't
IBF.
undisputed.
Huh?
He wasn't undisputed.
He wasn't. No, but what I'm saying is, they already called him a weight bully, right? He beat Kell Brook coming off of a loss, an eye injury. You know, he beat Sean Porter.
In all fairness, he had to go over there to get that.
He fought a one-legged Jose Benavidez. So what do you think it says?
Well, what is Terence's best victory for you?
Probably Gamboa.
Why do you say that?
Because I can't thank anybody else.
Did you say Postal? Was it Postal?
Gamboa.
No. Gamboa. Recently, was there another?
Spence, meanwhile, has not fought since Crawford stopped him in the 9th round of their highly anticipated super fight at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Billed as a 50-50 contest, the bout saw Crawford dominate his greatest rival, knocking him down 3 times in a career-defining performance. Before that loss, Spence, 28-1, held 3 welterweight world titles and boasted an impressive resume with victories over Kell Brook, Mikey Garcia, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, and Yordenis Ugas. Speaking on Pound for Pound with Kamaru and Henry, Crawford reflected on Spence, admitting he was a fan before their rivalry began, and still is.
Fandor, for his title, I'm fighting for a title, and there's a possibility. He win his fight, God willing. I win my fight, God willing, and there's a possibility right there.
Just when it got to the time where I moved up in weight and I'm in the same weight as Spence, it's like, oh man, you ain't fighting nobody. You this, you that, you this, you that. So now they are trying to ruin my achievements just to boost him up, and I'm like, hey, you're not going to do that because I can retire right now and be in the Hall of Fame. He couldn't. Everything that I've accomplished, he's still trying to accomplish. Co-host and former UFC champion Kamaru Usman interrupted to ask Crawford if he thought Spence would make the Hall of Fame. Right now? No? How? Crawford replied. Fellow host and ex-UFC champion Henry Cejudo agreed as Crawford elaborated. Spence stayed in one division, he unified, he had 3 belts, he wasn't undisputed. What I'm saying is he beat Kell Brook after he came off a loss and eye injury, he beat Sean Porter. I don't want to sound like I'm hating on him, but I honestly don't know if he makes it to the Hall of Fame with the accolades that he has right now.
Is there ever a possibility where you would rematch Errol Spence? Or is he in a position where he needs to win again before that makes sense for you?
The possibility is there.
Crawford, 41-0, secured his own future Hall of Fame spot on July 29th, 2023, when he defeated Spence to become the undisputed welterweight champion. It marked the second time Bud claimed all 4 belts in a weight class, having previously done so at super lightweight against Julius Ndongo in July 2017. Since winning his first world title at lightweight in 2014, Crawford has excelled across multiple divisions. Last August, he moved up to super welterweight and defeated Israel Madrimov to claim the World Boxing Association world title.
I said, you know what I mean? That's a good win. Like, I don't want to sound like I'm hating on him or, you know,
I understand
things like that, but I honestly don't know if he make it to the Hall of Fame with the accolades that he didn't got right now.
But before then, the World Boxing Organization champion, 35, knocked Spence down 3 times before the referee ended the punishment in the 9th. The win makes him the first man to win undisputed titles in 2 weight classes, as he stripped his fellow American of his World Boxing Council, World Boxing Association, Super and International Boxing Federation titles. I'm an overachiever. Nobody believed in me when I was coming up, Crawford said. Spence, 33, was undefeated in 28 fights, heading into the Las Vegas showdown, and it was his 8th world title bout in a row.
What did you see there?
He looked good. He showed a lot of patience, showed a lot of poise, broke him down, and was able to stop him at the end.
Everybody's wondering what's going on with you and Terence Crawford. This fight going to happen?
I think it's going to happen. We both want to fight. I want to fight. He wants to fight. And, it's going down to negotiations, so I definitely going to.
But Crawford, in his 18th consecutive championship bout, staked a firm claim to be the world's best boxer as he extended his win streak to 40 fights at T-Mobile Arena. It means everything because of who I took the belts from, he added. They talk bad about me, and I kept praying to God I would get the opportunity to show the world how great I am. And tonight, I believe I showed how great I am. Spence has the option to activate an immediate rematch, and Crawford said he was open to agreeing to a second fight.
Get the fight this year, and we're going to score off this year with the biggest fight in boxing.
It is the biggest fight in boxing. Where and when, if you were guessing?
I don't know where, I don't know when, but it's definitely going to be this year.
All right, we look forward to that. Thanks for taking the time, Errol.
Of course the public will buy it, he said. If the fight happens again, I'm pretty sure everyone will come out and show support for us. Spence made his entrance first despite being the unified champion. Crawford won a coin toss at the news conference on Thursday, meaning he could decide who occupied the champion's spot. Dressed in black and white with red trim, Spence walked second for the first time since stopping Kell Brook to win his first world title in 2017. The ring walks made it clear Crawford fans were outnumbering Spence and T-Mobile. Arena raised the roof when American rap superstar Eminem emerged from the smoke alongside Crawford, dressed in black and with a fishnet over his shoulder.
And there they are, ladies and gentlemen. It's the main event of the evening. Brought to you by Premier Boxing Champions. 12 rounds of boxing for the undisputed welterweight championship of the world.
Crawford said a quick prayer before entering the ring, and the stage was set for one of the most intriguing contests in boxing in the last 20 years. A tentative opening round saw neither man willing to engage. Spence dropped behind his jab in the second and found success, but it quickly emerged that Crawford was looking for huge counters. One whipped centimeters past Spence's face, then Crawford found his mark moments later, dropping and advancing Spence with a counter 1-2. Spence wobbled, but was back on his feet quickly, and Crawford delivered a strong right on his opponent at the bell.
Definitely, it was exciting. The whole build up to it and leading up to it too. So it's something that I wouldn't change for nothing. And I'm definitely open to the rematch, and hopefully it'll be at 154 pounds.
The speed and timing of Crawford sparked moments of panic from Spence, who tried to push ahead in the third and impose himself. But Crawford was too quick for his rival, repeatedly tagging Spence with counters. He was smacked with an uppercut in the fourth, then ducked into several hooks from Crawford before eating a massive long left that sent blood flying from the Texan's nose. Crawford continued to pick Spence apart in the fifth, selecting his shots cleverly and punishing his opponent with combinations.
Errol Spence, the other welterweight champion, who watched that knockdown, put his hand to his face, and said,
Spence tried to fight fire with fire, but his timing was now completely skewed as Crawford began to push forward. After fighting so much of the bout brilliantly on the back foot, Crawford was now pouring forward. Spence attempted to fend him off with his jab, but the Omaha native punched through his defenses with his own, tagging him repeatedly with left hands and mixing in uppercuts at close range. At the midway point, Crawford could count himself at least 5 rounds ahead, including the 10-8 knockdown round. But this dominance was not enough for the World Boxing Organization champion. He let Spence come onto him early in the 7th before countering with a thunderous uppercut, followed by a right hook that put his rival down for the second time. Spence was again quick off the canvas, but unsteady on his feet. Crawford sensed an end was close and stepped on the gas. Spence bounced off the ropes, trying to avoid the onslaught, but flew straight into another right hook that sent him down again. The bell rang to save Spence, and a convincing argument could have been made to pull the battered champion out of the contest.
Junior Terence Crawford, 4 tytuły, kategoria fundamentów Errola Spence'a Juniora w tym pojedynku. I raz jeden. Ataki na razie lepiej wszedł w tę walkę z Pęka.
Zobaczymy, czy tak to będzie wyglądało w tej walce. Dopiero drugie starcie. Robi się gorąco.
Po raz pierwszy w karierze Errol. Ale to może być wielki spektakl. Teraz obija korpus Crawford. Cios tamtego knockdownu bardziej myślę za...
Nevertheless, he emerged for the 8th, hoping to land one punch that could turn the fight around. But Crawford's superiority was entrenched, and he boxed beautifully off his jab, bamboozling Spence at will with his speed and movement. Spence's face was now battered, beginning to swell badly on the left side. His punches lacked power, while Crawford's jab snapped back the head of his opponent. The 9th round saw the punishment finally end for Spence when Crawford invited him to fight fire with fire, and the valiant champion did just that. But while Crawford was calm, Spence was wild. Another right hook landed to stun Spence, and as his opponent unleashed a flurry of punches, the referee stepped in to stop the contest.
Obviously, you're a guy that always wants to fight the best people out there. Even if you're on a layoff, always want to fight the best guys. We got a guy in Jaron Ennis right now who's killing everybody. Floyd is praising him, Roy Jones, everybody really. Would a part of you, and not looking past Terence, but would a part of you be like, yo, this kid is good, I gotta fight this kid?
Crawford was elated in celebration, dancing with his family after checking on his fellow pound-for-pound great. Crawford said before the fight the winner could call himself the best fighter in the world in any weight division, and few would surely find it difficult to disagree with Bud after such a dominant performance. Bud then did something unrealistic by calling out Canelo, an action many trolled him for. Now 37, Crawford is expected to return to the ring this September, potentially stepping up to super middleweight to challenge Canelo Alvarez, provided the Mexican defeats William Skull on May 3rd and becomes undisputed champion for a second time.
Ależ mocny lewy Spence'a i za chwilę deski.
Ale jaka odpowiedź? Nie wraca ta lewa ręka.
Który zaaplikował mu Crawford. Ostatnie sekundy siódmej rundy i kolejny knockdown. Patrzy na to, co wyprawia w tej walce Terence Crawford.
Czyli
Ależ teraz bomb.
Porter fought Bud in the 36th and final contest of his professional career back in 2021, suffering a 10th round stoppage victory to the then World Boxing Organization World Welterweight Champion. Showtime announced his retirement from boxing shortly after, having captured world honors at 147 pounds on 2 separate occasions. After dispatching of Porter, Crawford has gone on to become the undisputed welterweight champion with a career-defining victory over Errol Spence Jr., and more recently prevailed in a competitive showdown against Israel Madrimov to claim the WBA super welterweight title last August. The 37-year-old is now preparing for undoubtedly the toughest test of his career when he faces Mexican superstar and Unified World Boxing Council, World Boxing Association, and World Boxing Organization super middleweight champion Saul Canelo Alvarez in September.
What's your thoughts on the fight as a whole?
You know, I think Bud is out for the best. That's something that I know personally about Bud. You know, feeling counted out and doubted for so long, I think that Bud mentally feels as if I do this against Canelo, no one can ever deny anything that I've done, you know? Even when you, like, the fight with me, I've heard...
In an interview with Aaliyah Orozco, Porter gave plaudits to the punching power of his former rival turned friend Bud Crawford, claiming the 37-year-old has the ability to end fights at any point. With Crawford, we've learned don't blink. While it seems boring for quite a few rounds, then all of a sudden it just ends. In a separate interview with KO Artist Sports, Porter recalled the whip effect of Crawford's shots. Even if he connects and you're not out, he's going to keep coming and he's going to hit you. I kind of describe Terence's power as more of a whip because he throws his power with speed. It coined the phrase, speed makes power.
Excuses for the sake of words or reasons for the sake of words, and I think that for Bud it's like this one you can't deny it, you know, and I agree. Beyond that, there's really no one else for him to fight. He fought himself into what I like to say, out of this world. He fought himself into being on another stratosphere. That stratosphere that Canelo has been on for years. That stratosphere that not too many people make it to.
So his power is kind of disguised because of his speed, which I think makes it more of a whip. It's not going to take a long time to get there, it's going to get there fast, and it's going to pop you. Crawford will be eagerly awaiting the result of Canelo's upcoming bout against IBF super middleweight champ Canelo Alvarez, and Terence Crawford are expected to face off in September. The fight is set to take place at 168 pounds, whereas Crawford's last fight was at 154 pounds. They're two of the best pound-for-pound boxers in the world at the moment, and the potential clash could draw huge viewership numbers. Crawford will have to make a significant jump in weight for the contest, and many think it will be an issue for him. 2020, Olympic silver medalist Richard Torres Jr. has now shared his take on the matter.
Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, you know, Oscar De La Hoya in his prime, you know, you can't, so who else is there right now in that stratosphere other than Canelo? There is no one else. Tell me.
No, you got people that's approaching it.
Who's even approaching it? At 54 or
oh no, not at 54. I'm just saying people in boxing. You got Inoue.
Benavidez is approaching it.
Torres Jr. is impressed with Crawford's strength and brought up the time they wrestled and is backing Bud to get the job done. Speaking happy Ann to Sean Zittel, Torres Jr. said, "I'm Team Crawford, but I'm a ride or die Canelo fan. But with that being said, I'm going to sway a little bit more toward the USA side, but I'm excited for the fight." Looking back at his experience of wrestling with Crawford, Torres Jr. said, "It came out a while ago. Oh, Crawford beat Richard Torres in wrestling, and I got a couple of views on that. I just want to point out that I didn't know we were wrestling hard. We were wrestling in his kitchen, and he said, 'Let's see what we got.' All of a sudden, he got a lock on me, and I was like, 'Oh, it's over.'" Torres Jr. added that Terence Crawford is super strong. While they've never sparred, Torres Jr. reckons Bud has superb defense. He also challenged Crawford to a wrestling rematch.
What's the what is he Australian? What's his name?
Opatayan.
Opatayan.
Yeah, I don't know.
Opatayan.
Is he Australian or he's from like?
But it's the same weight class though, right?
No, it's cruiserweight.
He is
Opatayan's cruiserweight.
Yeah, he is cruiserweight. Yeah. So I think that this fight's on time for both of them guys. You know, everybody wants to see Benavidez in the ring with Canelo, as do I. But I don't think Benavidez.
Crawford is looking to move up to 168 pounds from 154 pounds for the fight. Alvarez, meanwhile, has to take care of business against William Skull first, which he'll do on May 3rd as he looks to become the undisputed super middleweight champion yet again. Many fans and experts believe Crawford's weight disadvantage could be a factor, while others think differently. Former IBF lightweight champion Mickey Bay doesn't think Crawford needs to come in too heavy for the fight. He wants Bud to be in his top fighting shape and thinks Crawford could take away a decision even if he comes in at around 165 pounds. Speaking to Mill City Boxing, he said, "In my opinion, I wouldn't come in heavy. I'd come in at 165 and at the same weight for the fight, 165 or 168.
Aspect of what a big boxing event commands.
If you were to get it done, how do you get it done?
Is that what you said?
Yeah, if you were to get it done against Canelo, how does Crawford get it done? Like,
you know, the thing with Crawford, which is pretty cool, is he can kind of transform seamlessly and do different things in the ring, which is pretty cool for him. Like for an example, he can box from the outside.
Bay added, "Whatever he feels good at sparring multiple times, that's what I'd come in at. 168, 171, I'd stay within that range. That's the only factor, him not being too slow. 165 and fight anywhere at the same weight. He'll probably be 165 or 170 when he fights. He can make 160 very easily, or 154 he can make," Bay continued. "So he can come in at whatever, like Floyd at 154? With Crawford, when he's in top shape, he's probably going to be in the 160s in camp. So he might as well stay there. In top shape, he's probably going to be in the low to mid 160s. So he ain't going to have to do nothing. I got Crawford by decision, and that's all for now. For the very best updates on news, moments, events, and actions in the world of boxing, stay connected with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications to get notified when we drop quality contents like this. Until next time, peace out.